If you're lucky, what this is doing is it's carving out some massive inverted head and shoulders here. So that looks like there to there to there to whatever the hell this bottom is to there. But if that's the case, what you really want to hunt is this window right in here and see if you can get long on this shoulder pullback here. Then that implies that this low is going to hold these lows. It's going to be a higher low. Right, which will start making W's. And, the ideal trade would be to see a nice W come in there above these lows here. That would be ideal, right? And of course, that would be in a reload zone, right? So if we go there to there, and we go there to there, and we go there to there, and oh, gee whiz, look right there. That would be perfect. RVNUSDT. Well, you can see where the W is. Actually, a really good example of a railroad tracks here. Interesting. Typical crypto, eh? This is so typical crypto. So they put in a railroad tracks, and you're like, okay, that's such a cool bottom. Fucking A, man. It goes up. And then what do? They pop it through the bottom of the railroad tracks just briefly to try and see if they could get any, people to balk. And then they take it straight up. So you've got your railroad tracks. You've got a really pretty inverted empire down here. If anything, this is, I've told you guys in the education program, Linda Bradford Radke years ago said, well, if you have an idea, maybe it's a good idea to take two shots at it. And this might be a really good example of, and just understanding crypto, these guys, they're as bad as OTC players. If they can steal your money, they'll steal it in a heartbeat. And look how painful this is. So they made a low. Boom, let's break this low just to break some hearts and then take it back up. Oh, no, we were just playing you there. Fuck you. And then back down. Boom, break it to a new low. Oh, no, we were just playing with you. And anybody was like, oh, no, this is totally the fake out move here. So you go and buy this and boom, break it to new lows. Oh, no, we're just fucking with you. I mean, so typical crypto, just brutal. I suppose when you saw this huge tail months and months and months ago, that should have been a warning like here. Well, we're probably going to have to come down and eat that tail. Because this is a new low, that's not really a W. Don't be surprised if we have to come right back down and test this down the road. And you can see this guy's got a history of doing this, just straight up and then all the way right back down. This would be very tough to play. No joke. If anything, this is a great analogy of why you build those like little old lady plans and stuff where, a huge rally, come right back down against the original bottom. What do we ideally want to see for bull markets that we're all going to get stinking rich, right? As we want to see, this is a weekly chart now, down, up, down, breakout. Then, following the breakout event right there, you want to go and throw your stink bids down in reload zones, candle body lows for trade location. Maybe you got filled here, or maybe you just had to buy and just get long and into it. I don't know. That's a tough one. Interesting how there were railroad tracks here, and I would imagine that probably a lot of people that played this before, when they saw this, they went, oh, I remember, I've seen this before, mind you. Oh, I guess this is a weekly chart. Well, I guess, yeah, still weekly chart, uglier than shit. I mean, terribly ugly looking chart. Because keep in mind, if you change this to a line chart, watch what happens. Boom. Hey, where did all the W's go? So has this thing actually bottomed in my eyes yet? Like, do we have that weekly W base there? I don't think so. I don't think it's bottomed yet. This is, I was referencing earlier how I thought that crypto, right now, I think crypto is going through a dead cat bounce. And I think that this is actually a really good example of the dead cat bouncing. And, you might even argue just looking at this particular range, right? We should bounce to 38.2s. Well, that's right there. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing works its way up into this level and rolls over and comes all the way right back down and has to test that low in earnest. So you're asking me, number one, is this little old lady candidate? Obviously you have to do your due diligence. Tell me a story. What do these guys do? What makes them so special? What's the fundamental driver? Do you know the developers? Do they have some sort of product, some sort of service? Are they reinventing the wheel? You know how this goes. Nothing changes with this. What is the fundamental reason for me to get excited here? Then technically speaking, right? We want to see W's on other sides of trend lines. I don't even think we've even got a W yet here because every time the market tries to W, I mean, there was a cute little one that happened really fast here, but I think that basically played out through that. So that's done. It's over. Then they come down, they try to make a new W. Nope, sorry. Still rallied it, but I don't think that that's a W. And as a result, I think all this was a dead cat bounce off of this range here. Well, same thing. The fact that they took this thing to new lows here means to me that this is nothing more than just a dead cat bounce. And I'm sorry. I mean, I know you don't want me to say that. I do like the idea of this thing coming up and eating into this wick up here. That makes perfect sense. There's a whole bunch of guys here that bought this, and this is what I would say to Joe tonight, right? These are a whole bunch of trap bulls, and if we get any kind of rally up into this area, these guys are going to be begging to get out. And if we get any kind of rally up into here, they're going to be begging to get out of here, and they're going to be begging to get out of here. Maybe if you're lucky, what this is doing is it's carving out some massive inverted head and shoulders here. So that looks like there to there to there to whatever the hell this bottom is to there. But if that's the case, what you really want to hunt is this window right in here, right? And see if you can get long on this shoulder pullback here. And that implies this shoulder pullback, if this is an inverted head and shoulder start of a new bull market, blah, 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 then that implies that this low is going to hold these lows. And it's going to be a higher low. Right, which will start making W's. And, the ideal trade would be to see a nice W come in there above these lows here. That would be ideal, right? And of course, that would be in a reload zone, right? So if we go there to there, and we go there to there, and we go there to there, and oh, gee whiz, look right there. That would be perfect. So do we have that on this thing? No. And I would say that this is our sort of comment. You heard Sjord say this the other day. Don't sit there and think, oh my God, this is the bull market. Everything's going to go straight up here. And if I don't go and fucking load up now, I'm screwed because I'm going to totally miss the boat. I think that's what gets people to go and chase and buy stupid up markets, because they think that this is it. This is when we're going to go. And I can tell you, I've been through 3 of these damn halvening events now so far. And every time we go through a halvening event, there's always some sort of pullback. And this is assuming that we actually bottom before the halvening event. I don't even think it's going to play out this way. I think, if anything, this is probably going to be long and drawn out. And it probably does something like that. That would probably be more accurate. And the period following the halvening event is actually a bit of a dump window, and where everybody's like, okay, well, that's the event. Now what? And we just sit there and do nothing for 6 months while we wait for this shit to base again. So actually, I like that kind of thinking a lot better. So I would say just be patient, draw your reload zones off of whatever the ultimate high is. In this particular case, I'm assuming that we're going to do like an inverted head and shoulders. And then hopefully what you see, if we do this inverted head and shoulders, is what you see is good old Brian's saucer bottom concept. So that's what inverted head and shoulders is kind of look like, is they look like these big wide saucer bottoms. So if I was a conjecturing man and sort of how does this bottom look like, if anything, Nico, you asked about this. I'm going to post that in the lounge, and I'll get rid of the previous one. I want you to save this chart, and I want you to come back in 6 months, and let's see what actually happened and how close this kind of forecast actually played out.